You kept that a secret for how long?
About 5-6 months.
6 months.
Yeah, and it was so hard too, because she's really observant, not nosy.
At one point towards the end, you kept saying, you really have no idea what I'm getting.
For years, Ellen DeGeneres and Portia de Rossi looked like one of Hollywood's happiest couples. Every red carpet appearance, every heartfelt interview, and every loving photo made it seem as though they had built a marriage that could survive anything. But behind the smiles, insiders claim a very different story was unfolding.
Well, I know you better than anyone. And there are certain things that I think other people should know about. She doesn't even care to tell me when she's nominated for something.
It's weird to interview her because I know everything about her.
As rumors of growing tension and heartbreaking disagreements continue to surface, many are now asking whether Portia's side of the story changes everything people thought they knew about Ellen. So, what really happened behind closed doors? Let's take a closer look. The scandal that shattered Ellen's public image. The years following the end of the Ellen DeGeneres show proved to be some of the most challenging Ellen DeGeneres and Portia de Rossi had faced together. For nearly 2 decades, Ellen had been one of the biggest names on daytime television. But after workplace allegations and the controversy surrounding the show's culture, her carefully built public image suffered a major blow. The sudden change left many wondering how someone who had spent years promoting kindness was now facing such intense criticism. While Ellen largely stepped away from the spotlight, attention quickly shifted to what was happening inside her marriage. According to several entertainment insiders, the difficult period placed enormous emotional pressure on both Ellen and Portia. Reports suggested that Ellen struggled with the damage to her reputation and the end of a career that had defined much of her life for years. Losing the daily routine of hosting one of television's most successful shows reportedly forced her into a period of deep personal reflection. Throughout that time, Portia was said to have remained by her side, offering encouragement and emotional support as Ellen adjusted to a very different life away from the cameras. Even so, anonymous sources claimed the challenges did not simply disappear. Some reports suggested that the emotional strain created by the controversy gradually affected their relationship as well. Although the couple continued presenting a united front whenever they appeared together publicly, insiders insisted that life behind closed doors had become much more complicated than fans realized. Speculation only grew stronger after Ellen attempted a return to comedy with her Netflix special. While many viewers welcomed seeing her back on stage, others felt the project failed to fully restore her public reputation. According to some entertainment insiders, the disappointing response reportedly increased the pressure surrounding both Ellen's career and her personal life. Whether those claims accurately reflected reality remains impossible to confirm, but they quickly became another source of discussion across celebrity media. At the same time, reports claimed that Ellen and Portia were looking into new business ventures together, including the possibility of launching a skincare brand. To some, these shared projects seemed like a hopeful attempt to begin a fresh chapter and rebuild together. Others, however, believed they reflected a determined effort to move past the setbacks and intense public scrutiny that had surrounded them in recent years. What became increasingly clear, however, was that public curiosity surrounding their marriage had reached a new level. Every appearance, every business decision, and every social media post sparked fresh speculation. Many longtime observers believed something had shifted, leaving fans wondering whether one of Hollywood's most admired relationships was quietly entering its most difficult chapter yet. Beyond starting a joint business in hopes of creating a fresh chapter together, what other steps did Ellen and Portia take to strengthen their relationship? Did those efforts finally put an end to the constant speculation surrounding their marriage? Let's find out. 2 women who built remarkable lives. Long before Ellen DeGeneres and Portia de Rossi became one of Hollywood's most talked-about couples, they had each traveled a difficult road filled with personal struggles, painful sacrifices, and life-changing challenges. Although the world would later see them as successful, confident women living a dream life, the truth was that both had spent years fighting battles that very few people truly understood. For Ellen, the road to success was anything but easy. She built a successful career as a stand-up comedian before becoming a familiar face on television. But everything changed when she made the courageous decision to publicly come out as gay in the late 1990s. At a time when Hollywood was far less accepting than it is today, that decision came with a heavy price. She faced intense criticism, lost professional opportunities, and saw much of her career come to a sudden halt. Many believed she would never recover. Yet instead of hiding who she was or backing away from the spotlight, Ellen refused to give up. She slowly rebuilt her career from the ground up, eventually launching The Ellen DeGeneres Show, which transformed her into one of America's most popular and influential daytime television hosts. Her humor, generosity, and positive outlook earned her millions of loyal fans around the world. Portia's story was just as inspiring, but in very different ways. Born Amanda Lee Rogers in Australia, she experienced heartbreak at a young age after losing her father when she was only 9 years old. As she grew older, she longed for a fresh start and decided to reinvent herself, changing her name to Portia de Rossi while still a teenager. Determined to make it as an actress, she moved to Hollywood, where years of hard work eventually paid off. Her memorable performances in hit television shows like Ally McBeal and Arrested Development made her a familiar face to audiences around the world. Yet behind the glamorous lifestyle and red carpet appearances, Portia was carrying emotional pain that few people could see. She struggled with severe eating disorders, battled constant feelings of insecurity, and lived with the fear that revealing her true sexuality could destroy the career she had worked so hard to build. For years, she felt trapped between living honestly and protecting her future. Although Ellen and Portia came from different backgrounds and built their careers in different ways, they shared similar emotional struggles. Both knew the pain of hiding who they truly were and facing difficult challenges. Their strength inspired many, but beneath their success were hidden emotional wounds that would later shape their relationship in unexpected ways. Different struggles shaped the personalities of Ellen and Portia as they built their careers, and their resilience showed just how strong they both were. But how far did that strength take them? What were they able to achieve together? Were they accepted for the path they chose? If so, what surprising truth did they later confess? Let's find out. A love story that changed narratives forever. Although Ellen DeGeneres and Portia de Rossi first met in 2000 at a social event in Los Angeles, their love story did not begin right away. Sometimes the right person appears at the wrong time, and that seemed to be exactly what happened. Portia would later admit that the moment she saw Ellen, she felt an instant connection that she simply couldn't explain. There was something about Ellen's confidence, warmth, and sense of humor that immediately drew her in. But despite those feelings, Portia wasn't ready to take that leap. At the time, she was still hiding a huge part of her life. She had not publicly come out as gay, and feared that revealing her true self could seriously damage the acting career she had worked so hard to build. Hollywood was still a difficult place for many openly gay actors, and Portia worried that following her heart might cost her everything she had achieved. So instead of acting on her feelings, she kept them to herself, and the two women went their separate ways. Over the next few years, fate seemed determined to keep bringing them back together. They crossed paths at different events, exchanged friendly conversations, and shared moments that left a lasting impression on both of them. With every meeting, the connection between them became harder to ignore. Even though nothing serious happened at first, there was an undeniable chemistry that neither of them seemed able to forget. Everything finally changed in 2004 when both Ellen and Portia found themselves single. This time, there were no emotional barriers standing in the way. Ellen, who had already faced enormous public criticism for openly embracing her identity, gave Portia something she had rarely experienced before. Around Ellen, Portia no longer felt she had to hide who she really was or pretend to be someone she wasn't. Ellen's openness and confidence gave Portia the courage to lower the emotional walls she had spent years building. Their relationship quickly grew stronger and soon became public, capturing the attention of fans around the world. More than just another celebrity romance, their love story became a powerful symbol of hope, courage, and authenticity for many people, especially within the LGBTQ+ community. Portia often described Ellen as her soulmate and the first person who truly made her feel accepted exactly as she was. At a time when same-sex relationships still faced significant social challenges, their romance represented something much bigger than fame. It became proof that love could flourish even in the face of fear, judgment, and enormous public pressure, inspiring countless people to embrace their own truth. Portia and Ellen, both women, developed feelings for each other in 2000 but were afraid to express them openly. What made them keep those emotions hidden? Why did they fear revealing the truth about their relationship? What eventually gave them the courage to embrace their feelings despite the challenges they faced? Let's uncover the astonishing details. A fairy tale marriage that shocked millions. The year 2008 marked a life-changing moment, not only for Ellen DeGeneres and Portia de Rossi, but also for countless same-sex couples across California. When the state's highest court legalized same-sex marriage, the couple knew they did not want to wait another moment to make their commitment official. After years of building a relationship based on trust, love, and mutual support, Ellen decided it was time to take the next step. She proposed to Portia in the comfort of their Los Angeles home with a stunning pink diamond ring. Overcome with emotion, Portia did not hesitate. Her answer was an immediate and heartfelt yes. Their wedding, held on August 16, 2008, was an intimate ceremony at their Beverly Hills home surrounded by close friends and family. While the guest list was small, the meaning behind the occasion was enormous. It was much more than the marriage of two celebrities. For millions of people watching around the world, their wedding became a powerful symbol of love, equality, and hope. At a time when many same-sex couples were still fighting for the right to marry, Ellen and Portia's celebration represented a future where love could finally be recognized regardless of gender. Their handwritten vows and emotional ceremony touched the hearts of many who saw them as pioneers helping to break barriers. Following their wedding, Ellen and Portia appeared happier than ever. Wherever they went, they seemed completely comfortable in each other's company. Whether they were walking hand in hand at glamorous red carpet events, laughing together during television interviews, or quietly enjoying everyday moments away from the cameras, they gave the impression of two people who genuinely enjoyed sharing life. Their chemistry felt natural, and their affection appeared effortless, making them one of Hollywood's favorite couples. Their bond extended far beyond public appearances. Together, they devoted time and resources to causes that mattered deeply to both of them, especially animal welfare and charitable work. They opened their home to several rescue animals and regularly supported organizations dedicated to protecting vulnerable animals and helping those in need. Ellen often spoke lovingly about Portia, describing her as the greatest blessing and the best thing that had ever happened to her. Portia, in turn, frequently credited Ellen with helping her accept herself completely after years of self-doubt and insecurity. She often said Ellen taught her that she never had to pretend to be anyone else to deserve love. To the outside world, they seemed to have built the perfect life together. Their marriage became one of Hollywood's most admired love stories, admired not only because of their fame, but because they appeared to prove that lasting love, friendship, and unwavering support could truly exist in the spotlight. Both women married in 2008 and made animal welfare one of the many causes they passionately supported together. But did they truly live happily ever after? Or were they smiling in public while quietly hiding their private struggles? Now, let's explore the hidden struggles and unspoken pain behind the perfect image. Although Ellen DeGeneres and Portia de Rossi continued to appear deeply in love whenever the cameras were around, life behind closed doors was reportedly becoming far more complicated than anyone could see. To the public, they looked like one of Hollywood's strongest couples. They attended glamorous events together, praised each other during interviews, and shared moments that made their marriage seem almost effortless. Many fans believed they had found the perfect balance between love, success, and lasting commitment. But away from the spotlight, the reality was reportedly much more complex. As the Ellen DeGeneres show became one of the most successful programs on daytime television, Ellen found herself carrying more responsibilities than ever before. Her days were packed with filming, meetings, interviews, business projects, and public appearances, leaving very little time to slow down. The bigger her career became, the greater the demands on her attention and energy. While she continued enjoying remarkable success and widespread recognition, those closest to her reportedly believed that balancing such an intense career with a peaceful home life was becoming more difficult with each passing year. Portia, meanwhile, faced a different kind of struggle. She had already earned respect through successful roles in television series such as Ally McBeal, Arrested Development, and Scandal. However, many people increasingly viewed her not as an accomplished actress in her own right, but simply as Ellen's wife. According to friends and entertainment insiders, living beside one of television's biggest stars sometimes made it difficult for Portia's own achievements to receive the recognition they deserved. Over time, that imbalance reportedly became emotionally frustrating. At the same time, Portia was still carrying painful emotional scars from years of battling anorexia, bulimia, and constant feelings of self-doubt. She later spoke openly about how exhausting it had been to spend years believing she was never thin enough, beautiful enough, or simply good enough. Recovery was not something that happened quickly. It required years of emotional healing, patience, and learning to accept herself in ways she never had before. Even after making significant progress, those old insecurities occasionally resurfaced during difficult moments. According to reports, while Ellen remained heavily focused on the demands of her growing career, Portia sometimes felt increasingly alone. She reportedly believed that her own emotional struggles were not always fully understood amid the pressures surrounding Ellen's busy professional life. There was no suggestion that the love between them had disappeared, but balancing two very different emotional journeys became harder with time. The marriage that millions admired as one of Hollywood's greatest love stories was reportedly facing quiet challenges that could not be seen behind smiling photographs, red carpet appearances, and heartfelt public tributes. Beyond Ellen's intense focus on her career, which reportedly left Portia feeling increasingly lonely and created emotional distance in their relationship, what other challenges were they facing together? How did they try to cope with those difficulties while maintaining the image of a happy marriage? Let's uncover the details. The pressure of fame. As the Ellen DeGeneres show reached incredible levels of success, the pressure surrounding Ellen DeGeneres' public image grew just as quickly. Millions of viewers watched her every day, expecting the same cheerful smile, generous spirit, and positive energy that had made her one of America's most beloved television personalities. To the public, Ellen appeared to have the perfect life. But behind the cameras, maintaining that image reportedly became far more exhausting than most people realized. Every appearance, interview, and episode carried the expectation that she would always be funny, kind, and upbeat, regardless of how she actually felt. Over time, that constant pressure reportedly began affecting her personal life as well. Ellen later admitted that living up to the expectations surrounding her public persona was emotionally draining. Like anyone else, she experienced difficult days, but many believed she rarely felt free to show that side of herself. Instead, she continued protecting the image that had taken decades to build. According to people close to the couple, the emotional weight of carrying that responsibility did not stay at work. It gradually found its way into her marriage with Portia de Rossi. Friends and insiders later claimed that disagreements became more frequent as the pressures of fame continued to grow. Reports suggested that Ellen's strong personality and her desire to stay in control sometimes created tension at home, particularly when it came to handling personal challenges or protecting her public reputation. As criticism from the media increased over the years, Ellen reportedly became even more determined to manage how she and her life were perceived, making it harder to separate her public image from her private world. Portia, however, reportedly wanted something very different. After spending years in the spotlight herself, she increasingly longed for a quieter and more peaceful life away from Hollywood's constant attention. Rather than worrying about headlines, public appearances, or outside opinions, she wanted a life centered on privacy, authenticity, and emotional peace. According to those familiar with the couple, this growing difference in priorities slowly created emotional distance between them. Despite these challenges, neither woman reportedly gave up easily. They sought therapy and made repeated efforts to strengthen their relationship, hoping to overcome the issues that had quietly developed over the years. They continued appearing together publicly, presenting a united front and speaking warmly about one another whenever they were asked. Yet behind those public smiles, some emotional differences reportedly proved far more difficult to resolve than either had expected. As time passed, the gap between Ellen's demanding public life and Portia's desire for a simpler, more private future became increasingly difficult to ignore, placing their once-admired marriage under growing pressure. The pressure that came with Ellen's fame was also affecting her marriage to Portia, yet they both tried to keep those struggles out of the public eye. But were they able to completely hide the challenges they were facing? Or did people begin to notice that something was wrong despite their efforts to conceal it? Let's find out. Behind the smiles and loving tributes. As the years went by, whispers about trouble in Ellen DeGeneres and Portia de Rossi's marriage became harder and harder to ignore. Entertainment magazines, celebrity blogs, and tabloids regularly published stories claiming the couple was drifting apart behind closed doors. Some reports suggested they were spending more time apart because of their demanding lifestyles, while others alleged that frequent disagreements had become a normal part of their relationship. Certain tabloids even claimed that Ellen's alleged drinking habits and strong controlling personality had created serious tension at home. As each new headline appeared, public curiosity only continued to grow. Some of the rumors became even more dramatic. There were sensational claims that the couple was secretly living separate lives, preparing for divorce, or facing emotional breakdowns behind closed doors. One particularly shocking story made extreme allegations about Portia's emotional well-being. However, those reports were later strongly challenged by reliable sources, which dismissed them as completely false and without credible evidence. Even so, the constant stream of speculation kept their marriage under an intense spotlight, with every public appearance and every social media post being carefully examined for hidden clues. Despite all the rumors circulating online and in the tabloids, Ellen consistently presented a very different picture. Whenever she spoke publicly about Portia, her words were filled with admiration and affection. She repeatedly described Portia as the greatest blessing in her life, and often said marrying her was one of the best decisions she had ever made. Whether celebrating birthdays, anniversaries, or everyday moments together, Ellen regularly shared heartfelt tributes that painted the picture of a marriage built on love, gratitude, and deep friendship. Their public appearances seemed to support that message. The couple continued attending events together, smiling for photographers, holding hands, and showing the same warmth that had made them one of Hollywood's most admired couples for years. On social media, they frequently shared happy moments from their life together, giving fans every reason to believe their relationship remained as strong as ever. Yet, the rumors refused to disappear. Anonymous insiders continued claiming that things behind closed doors were far more complicated than the public realized. According to these sources, the couple had become increasingly skilled at keeping personal struggles private while maintaining a united front whenever cameras were nearby. None of those claims were publicly confirmed, but they continued fueling endless debate. As a result, the contrast between the couple's polished public image and the ongoing speculation surrounding their private life only became more intriguing, leaving many people wondering whether the fairy tale everyone admired was truly as perfect as it appeared. Despite Ellen and Portia repeatedly insisting that everything was fine between them, growing speculation suggested that all might not be as perfect as it seemed. But were the challenges in their marriage affecting their careers as well? Could the pressure surrounding their relationship have taken a personal toll on either of them? Now, let's explore how uncertainty gradually reached a boiling point, leaving Hollywood behind for a new life. In late 2024, Ellen DeGeneres and Portia de Rossi surprised fans around the world by making a life-changing decision. After spending decades in the spotlight and building their lives in California, the couple chose to leave the United States and settle permanently in the peaceful English countryside. Their new home was located in the beautiful Cotswolds, a region famous for its rolling hills, quiet villages, and slower pace of life. For many, the move seemed completely unexpected, immediately sparking curiosity about what had inspired such a dramatic change. Ellen later explained that the decision came after the 2024 U.S. presidential election. At the same time, the move also allowed Portia to fully enjoy one of her greatest passions: horses. As a longtime horse lover, Portia had often spoken about how much she enjoyed spending time with animals and being surrounded by nature. The English countryside offered exactly the kind of peaceful environment she had always dreamed of, far removed from Hollywood's constant attention and endless public scrutiny. Life in England looked very different from the glamorous lifestyle the couple had become known for in California. Instead of red carpets and television studios, their days appeared to revolve around open fields, farm animals, and quiet country living. Through social media, they occasionally shared glimpses of their new life, showing fans their growing collection of animals and moments spent enjoying the calm surroundings. They also moved into a larger property that better suited Portia's horses and the peaceful lifestyle they hoped to build together. To many supporters, the relocation looked like the fresh start they both needed after several difficult years. It seemed to offer an opportunity to leave behind the intense media attention, professional pressures, and public controversies that had surrounded Ellen in recent years. Living thousands of miles away from Hollywood gave the impression that they were finally choosing privacy over fame. Even so, the speculation did not disappear. Months later, reports claimed that residents who had once regularly seen Ellen around the village noticed she was no longer appearing as often. Although there was no evidence that anything was wrong, those observations quickly fueled another wave of rumors across celebrity media. Some wondered whether the couple was simply enjoying a more private lifestyle, while others questioned whether deeper personal issues remained hidden from public view. Whether their move to England represented the peaceful new beginning they had hoped for, or simply another chapter in an increasingly scrutinized relationship remained uncertain. What was undeniable, however, was that even after leaving Hollywood behind, Ellen and Portia still found themselves at the center of endless public fascination, with every new development becoming another reason for fans and critics alike to speculate about the true state of their marriage. In an effort to escape the constant public pressure, Ellen and Portia left America and started a new chapter abroad. But did that fresh start finally give them the peace and happiness they had been searching for? Now, let's uncover the shocking final chapter. The final breaking point. For years, Ellen DeGeneres and Portia de Rossi worked hard to present themselves as one of Hollywood's strongest and most devoted couples. No matter how many rumors appeared in magazines or spread across social media, they almost always responded with smiles, affectionate public appearances, and heartfelt words about one another. To millions of fans, they represented a love story that had survived fame, public pressure, and constant attention. But behind that carefully protected image, whispers of deeper problems never completely disappeared. As time went on, reports suggesting trouble in their marriage became more frequent. Several anonymous insiders claimed the relationship had reached a breaking point after years of emotional strain. According to those reports, Ellen had privately admitted that she had done everything she possibly could to save the marriage, but still wondered whether any of it had been enough. Those alleged comments painted the picture of someone left heartbroken, questioning where things had gone wrong after investing so much into the relationship. At the same time, other reports suggested Portia had grown increasingly exhausted by living under the weight of Ellen's enormous public profile. While Ellen remained one of television's biggest personalities for years, Portia was often viewed simply as Ellen's wife, instead of being recognized for her own successful career and achievements. Some insiders claimed that constantly living in the shadow of Ellen's fame, along with the pressure of protecting a carefully managed public image, slowly became more difficult than anyone realized. After the Ellen DeGeneres show came to an end, and the controversies surrounding its final years dominated headlines, public curiosity about Ellen and Portia's marriage reached a new level. Fans and media outlets began examining every interview, public appearance, and social media post, hoping to uncover signs of what might really be happening behind closed doors. Although neither Ellen nor Portia confirmed the ongoing rumors about their relationship, the constant speculation only grew louder, leaving many convinced that there was more to the story than either was willing to reveal. For years, Portia chose not to publicly discuss the painful or complicated moments in her relationship with Ellen, preferring to keep those struggles private. But her silence only made people even more curious, leaving many to wonder what was really happening behind closed doors. Whether any future revelations ever come remains uncertain, but one thing is clear. If Portia eventually decides to share her side of the story, it could dramatically change how many people view one of Hollywood's most famous marriages. After years of unanswered questions, fans are now wondering whether the real story has been hidden in plain sight all along. So, what do you think about Portia and Ellen's struggles? Do you think they could ever live peacefully together? We would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe.